Good day, ladies and gents. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back with some more Warpforge. And today I'm going to be doing a patch review as per tradition, but I also hope that in this video I will also manage to catch the attention of Everguild, and I hope that somebody from Everguild is watching this video, and thank you in advance if you are. I appreciate it a lot. Now, you might think from the thumbnail of this video that this is just a rant video about how terrible the patch is or something. Actually, no. It's not something like that, because I actually like a lot of things that Everguild did with this patch. I'm not gonna be like very negative, but there are also some things that I think that they should address immediately. So I hope if somebody's watching from Everguild, please make sure to watch this video till the end. It's gonna be a short one. Now I'm gonna cut it short, like with the Ultramarines. Let's begin. I love the Uriel Ventress change, and I don't need to. I'm not gonna explain like in detail why I love it. It's just that it's a very good addition, because like the Warlord really needed something to compensate for the fact that the other two Warlords had insane card draw. Octavia Infiltrator change, nothing too big, doesn't really matter. Inceptor change, sure, it's welcome. I like that they took it from the being a copy-paste of the Tomb Blade, so this is pretty good. However, I would still prefer if they had just reverted it and had for ranged attack. I would still think that that would be the way to go. Antaro Chronos change, absolutely welcome. I love it because we want more vehicle marines, more variety, and this legendary to be more usable. Absolutely welcome. Impulsor health buff, I don't think it was that necessary, but I guess this is going to be a nice change, especially for Ventress if he's going to play for some Swarm type of deck. Now, Hero's Respite, reduced to 2. Once again, card draw abilities maybe to compensate for some of the nerfs. Sure, welcome change. And with Greater Deeds, I'm just going to say this is not going to help, because with Kato Sicarius, the same problem exists as with Iskandar Kaon. Such expensive cards are always going to be bad and unplayable unless you give them a rally or resolution. So if you don't give them an instant value, they're not going to be played, no matter how many times you're going to buff them. So they need instant value. Overall, I would say maybe Ultramarines, some people expected different changes, but it's a thumbs up for me because I love the change with Uriel, and I think that some of these changes are definitely welcome, because small buffs to Ultramarines are a pretty nice thing overall. With the Goth Orcs, they dealt with two of the major issues, which is Gaskell as well as Makari abuse. Definitely welcome changes, because I think that the worst thing that Everguild could do was kill the faction, like the Ultramarines, like they did with the Ultramarines, but they did not. So definitely a thumbs up for me once again. I think this is a very nice change. There's still going to be some problems maybe with the Orcs, like the Green Horde, but you know what? As long as these two things have been dealt with, I'm fine with it once again. With Black Legion, Hellspear Assault buff for World Claimer, I think that it is, once again, a welcome change. He needed the buff, he needed to be a little more effective. So instead, they also took away the flying, because they gave him a nice strike. So I definitely think that this is a welcome change. With Diabolic Strength with Sylar Hexcorn, I'm just going to say, if you want this Warlord to work, you just stop giving him random psychic powers. Make him choose his psychic power, but make all of the other things random, like random damage, random mark of power, maybe a buff to a random unit to its health, and maybe damage or something. Just make the effects random, but make him be able to choose what power he wants to play. If not, he's just going to be an inferior version of Tigurius. So just keep that in mind. Venom Crawler buff, sure, it's a welcome buff, but it's not unnecessary. Venom Crawler, I think, was already a beautiful drop for Chaos, so a little bit of an unnecessary change if you ask me. But why am I being so fast in going through these changes? Like, the reason is that I want to talk about High Fleet Leviathan, okay? So the thing is, High Fleet Leviathan received some very big buffs. So let me talk first about two buffs that I think could work, and then two buffs that I think are absolutely gonna break the game. So Hormagaunt, increasing melee attack, welcome buff. It's gonna make the unit more playable. It's gonna be more variety, more interesting. So I think it's a nice little buff. Nothing bad there. Leviathan's Tendrils, once again, you know, drawing 2 cards plus giving 1 HP to any troop drawn. Maybe not like the best thing, but definitely can make Tyranids a little bit stronger, which is pretty good, I guess. So once again, I don't mind. Welcome change. Nothing too crazy, but a welcome change. However, now let's talk about the Neurotrope and the Gene Stealer change. I'm going to start from the Gene Stealer, and I'm going to outright say, if they allow this to go live, they're going to lose even more players than they did last month. Let me explain why. The biggest drop in Warpforge players was basically, I believe, last month. Now the thing is, Of course, one of the reasons is that there's not enough variety in the game and there's not enough actions in the game, so not enough content, right? But on top of that, the thing is, first month you had the Ultramarines being very strong, so they were kind of dwarfing all the other factions. They were kind of still able to be dealt with, but they were definitely the strongest faction, and everybody was spamming either Varo or Kalgar. And now in this, in the following month, what you had there was everybody spamming Gaskell, and it was absolutely disgusting. Like the high rank ladder was absolutely full of Gaskells, and there was nothing else other than Gaskell there. Terrifying, terrible design, and very bad for the game. And if you remember, guys, when I was reading the patch notes, I said he summons 2 Grots. Okay, that's gonna break the game because he'll be able to have 4 Grots on turn 1. It was not difficult to guess that this was gonna ruin the game. Same thing is gonna happen to Genestealer. Now think about it. This unit having stealth is gonna enable 2 types of abuses, basically. First of all, imagine on energy turn 4, Neurothrope is gonna have a 6-8 unit using his ability. Nuts. And even that is not the worst thing. He's gonna be able to spam the Genestealers. You drop a Genestealer, it has 3 HP, so it's out of a lot of AoE's reach. It generates another Genestealer, you drop that one, you attack with the current one, then it generates another one, then you play it again, and again, and again, and again, until the enemy is magically able to clear the board. I think that that is toxic design, and that is not something that should go live in the game. If this goes live, then everybody's just going to play Venom Throw, and you'll get the same situation as you had with Gaskell, and it's going to ruin the game once again. Now, on top of that, as if that was not enough, now you also have a very terrifying change with Neurothrope. So with Neurothrope, his ability received a huge buff. He can give 2 health now or deal 1 damage, and the ability still costs 1 energy. I think that that is not good, because that means that for 6 energy, you can play a Tyrant Guard and you can have it at 7 health. You can have a Genestealer at 5 health instantly, or if it combines, you can have it at 8 health. You can buff like any armored unit with plus 2 HP every single turn because it costs only 1 energy, and on top of that, it can also be used as an extra damage tactic. This is an overloaded ability. You need to at least increase the cost to 2 if you're giving it something like that. On top of that, it targets units, not only troops. Look at how much this ability can do. For 1 energy, you can give 2 health to your Warlord, to a unit, or deal 1 damage to something else. Yeah, you might then say, but Abaddon does that. He can get 2 health and give like a Dark Pact to a unit. It's not even close. Imagine like just how unkillable Tyranids are going to become with this. I think that what they need to do here is that they should increase the cost of this to 2, and they should just revert the Genestealer change. Just revert it, just remove it. Don't let it go live, because you're gonna have the same situation as you had with the Orcs. The Tyranids are going to be so overpowered that there's not going to be any point in playing anything else. Tyranids are already pretty strong. They're already pretty strong because they have that Bloodlust that can just one-shot you, and there's currently no anti-stealth in the game. There's hardly any counterplay to it, so they're already very strong. If you want to buff Tyranids, you should think more about how to change the Swarm mechanic, buff Tervigon. As I said, Venom Thrope change, I don't really, Neurothrope change, I don't really mind that, but I think it just needs a cost increase, because it's going to be very, very toxic dealing with that. It's going to be very strong. But even if you want to leave that in the game, the Genestealer must absolutely not go live. I just think that if that happens, we're just going to have the same situation in the game, in which there's going to be just 1 Warlord on the top of the ladder, that being Venom Thrope, Neurothrope, sorry. And it's not going to be good for the game. More people are going to keep abandoning the game. Like, if you noticed, for the last week, everybody in Warpforge Discord was talking about Horus Heresy. This is not how it's supposed to work. This is not a good sign. So I think you should not let this go live. Don't let the Genestealer buff go live, and perhaps reconsider the Neurothrope buff to at least cost 2 energy. Everything else I think was quite alright. I don't mind it. Maybe Inceptor could just be reverted to the way it was, but I don't mind everything else. They can leave everything else as it was. Overall, I think this would be a decent patch if it was not for High Fleet Leviathan. Another thing that I could definitely suggest is think about doing something about the scarabs, because it's a totally unfun, uninteractive, and stupid mechanic in general. And no, just clear the board isn't an answer, because you can only clear the board so many times. It's a very, very toxic and uninteractive mechanic, so think about what you could be doing about the scarabs. So I hope that EG watches this, and I hope they consider what I'm saying, and I hope they don't let the Gene Stealer change go live, at least, because it's absolutely going to ruin the game. So thank you for watching, guys, and thank you EG for watching if you did, and please consider this change once again. Thank you very much.